Hey, what's up, Blazer fans? Welcome to We Have a Take the What podcast. I am Tara Bowen Biggs, joined as always by Rose Harding. Hello, Rose.
Hi, Tara. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk about basketball. I'm starting to get excited for the season. Are you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, when I was preparing for this podcast, I was like, oh my God, I haven't really thought about Blazers basketball and like the basketball part of the
Yeah.
basketball for like months. And it felt really good to think about like, what do I think the lineups are going to look like? Like, who's going to start on this new team? It was very exciting to even think about those things again because I know it's like almost here.
Yeah, and I was digging around basketball reference. I was just feeling like the good old days. Because even last year, like I was remembering last year about this time, our attitude was like, okay, how are we going to survive this season? And now it's kind of like, okay, what we're going to talk about is what are we looking for in the season? So that's going to be our topic. But it was fun to prepare for that because it's like, yeah, totally like last year we didn't really know what to expect. All the years before that we knew exactly what to expect. And so it's kind of like a clean slate, kind of, pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I was having this moment where I was like realizing, so 2025 has been, in a lot of different measures, a hard year.
Yeah.
But for Blazers fans of basketball, like basketball fans are, for us are like, it's been kind of it's been like pleasantly surprising because like the team went on that really great run at the end of the season where they were winning and playing really fun, good basketball. And even when they were losing close. Like, I don't know, like my basketball self and then like the rest of me felt like they were completely uncoupled, and it's fun to go in like hopeful into something.
Yeah. Well, and then even after, in addition to the play, it was like they actually were playing in a way that like made sense for the
Mm.
roster that looked like, oh, this could get better. And then, Damian Lillard came back, and like now we know who the new owner is going to be. And it's kind of like things are sort of falling into place in terms of a, just like at least clarity instead of just like, what is this jumbled, bubbly pile of we don't know what? Now it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
But
okay.
there's like a foundation there, and there's some amount of like stability that we can expect, I think, in the coming year that we haven't been able to expect in the last like 3 seasons or something. And that feels nice because I'll say like in other places in the world, the chaos has never been more.
Yes, so we have at
So,
least something we can escape into that feels a little bit more cozy and like home.
yeah. And it has Damian Lillard.
I know. Well, okay, so before we go into what we're going to talk about with the Blazers, there's a couple big stories in the
Yeah.
in the news. Let's talk about Kawhi first. I don't have a lot to say about that, but I'm sure everybody who's listening to this has an idea what happened with Kawhi. Basically, Pablo Torre finds out, which is a fantastic podcast, did a whole expose which led up to the discovery that Kawhi Leonard basically was getting an extra $7 million a year for a contract which was specifically written so that he didn't have to do anything. And that is being allegedly to circumvent the salary cap, which we know the NBA hates more than anything. Um,
Yes.
so,
And he had this contract to do this with a company that Ballmer had invested in,
yes,
quote, invested in.
right. And
And it
which
was
was
very similar
also,
to the amount of money that Kawhi Leonard was receiving.
yeah, well, and also were the original inaugural sponsor patch, or I don't know if they were the inaugural sponsor patch, but they were like that company also was a patch sponsor for the Clippers. Oh, I think their inaugural one was Bumble, wasn't it? Somebody
Sounds right, but I can't remember if that was the Lakers or the Clippers, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I feel like it was the Clippers because we all laughed about it. Um, but anyway, so yeah, any thoughts on that? My immediate thoughts were like, oh no, how many other people are doing this? And how
That
many of
was
them are on my team?
that was my first thought too. I was like, okay, who else is doing this? And then I was like, I'm gonna see how all the other like owners react to this news and like what statements they put out, and that'll give us an idea of what the temperature is on like how many other teams are doing this. Um, and then my second thought was, when I read Ballmer's statement, I was like, oh, he definitely did it because the only way these billionaires admit that they got duped by somebody is when that's better than the alternative, which is that you did it on purpose.
I know, saying that you're duped, like you're the sixth richest man in the world or something like that. How did you get duped?
The only way you admit that that's what happened is when the alternative is
Is
worse.
worse.
They don't like to admit that stuff. We see it all the time. When they do admit it, it's because the alternative is worse. So I was like, oh, you definitely did it, buddy.
Yeah, well, to go back to your first thought, I think it was Mark Cuban immediately came out with a statement. So that was like, okay, yeah, they're all doing it, or there's more people that are doing it. And that's not what he said, but that was how I interpreted the situation. But like, I've listened to a few different podcasts about it, and like they do say like sponsors do have separate arrangements with players for teams that they sponsor. So like Damian Lillard and BioFreeze. But that was like everybody knew about it, and like Damian did stuff to
Yeah.
promote
Didn't he do
BioFreeze.
he did an ad for them, didn't he?
Yeah, I
He
mean
did like a commercial.
he did. I'm pretty sure he did many things, but it was. Did you listen to the Pablo Torre podcast?
I skimmed it. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened
Yeah,
to the
he
top
was
line
like
stuff.
reading like all of the and had a lawyer like reading all the clauses about all of the things that Kawhi was going to be asked to do for this sponsorship, and it was like sign 50 things and like very small like obligations compared to like what people who usually get sponsorship like sponsor marketing sponsorships like that do. So in the first place, they were very small obligations. And then there was a clause that said, but he doesn't have to do anything if it go against his beliefs.
What?
So, so
Signing if signing stuff is against his beliefs, he doesn't
right,
have to do it.
exactly. So I was like, man, that's a sweet deal.
It's so crazy to me because also it's not hard for them to do this with a little bit more obligation and be in the clear. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like to sign him to an endorsement deal that is like too much for what it is, but also where it looks like you've like tried to do it legit. Like make him do an ad for you. Like
Yeah. And like we know people like make a lot of money, especially when there's social media involved. Like influencers are
totally.
out there making money. So like, I mean, they're not making $7 million a year. Maybe some of them are. I don't know. The Love Island people are doing pretty well for themselves. But like, it's like we know it can be done, but like to then be like, but you actually don't, if it's against your belief, then that's cool.
Yeah, it just doesn't it seems like to me it would be so easy to write it in such a way where you overpay him for something that still looks kind of legit. And
Mhm.
this like it sounds like it doesn't seem particularly legit in any way, shape, or form.
I guess the thing to do now that everybody's going to go do who has more time to research these things than I do is going to go back and see everybody who like took a pay cut. And so like Jalen Brunson
Mm.
is one of those people who ostensibly took a pay cut. And so then they're like, okay, so what did you get in return for the pay cut? So of course I immediately was like, oh my gosh, Damian Lillard um took a pay cut to sign for the MLE, but then of course he's also getting all that money from uh
His buyout money.
yeah, his buyout money. So hopefully he's not, but I don't know. It was just so refreshing to have a scandal that wasn't like gambling or like arrest or violence related.
Yeah, there's no abuse here. I mean, there's okay, so there's financial abuse here and like abuse of like the collective bargaining agreement, but there's not
Mhm.
like
Physical or yeah.
yes. Yeah, and also it doesn't involve my team and it also involves an owner that I also happen to think is a little bit like a cartoon character. So it's like easy for me to be like, "Oh, this is fun."
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So my husband and I, this every year we choose a where to go. So we're gonna go to LA this year for the away games because they're back to back in LA. So I'm ready to spend
Yes.
like all the money. It's gonna cost so much money. But we're gonna go. So I can't wait to go see Intuit Arena. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
wait to see what that is like. I've been to Staples or whatever it's called, the Crypt. I went there for
Crypto.
like a preseason game to watch the Clippers play back when Mo Harkless was on the Clippers. But I've seen that. But I'm super excited to see the new arena and report back what that is like.
Right, because doesn't it have the t-shirt guns in like in the center that can reach every single seat in the arena? I remember that somebody telling
That
me
sounds
about that
right.
because I talk a lot about t-shirt
Yes.
guns.
They also have a lot of bathrooms.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's the thing is he like announced that they have like more toilets than any other professional arena. So that's exciting. And they also have like receptors in the seats to like tell how loud your section is. And then if you're in like the loudest section, you get extra. Plus, I want to see the wall. Oh
oh,
my
oh,
God.
yes.
Yeah. So our seats are like not too far. I bought our seats already and we're not like too far from the wall.
You gotta
So
have a good view of the wall.
yeah, we'll have a good view of the wall. So I can't wait to go see what that is all about. And we'll see what, if any, punishment the NBA decides to give to the Clippers. Maybe we'll know by then because it's in October, so it's really early in the season. So maybe we won't know anything.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll be excited to hear about it because like they really touted that arena. They talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
And also I'll say like I don't think that they anticipated like this kind of negative attention this season. So I'm just kind of curious what happens to the Clippers this season as a team, in addition to the
Yes.
arena, all this other stuff like that. Like they were like, we were hoping to be winning a championship, and here they are, like, we're involved in a scandal around paying Kawhi Leonard money, and our team is only okay.
Yeah. And they're old.
Yes, they just keep getting
Um,
older.
yeah. I always so while I of course don't like the Lakers, my reaction to the Lakers is to like the Clippers. I feel like that hurts Lakers fans just as much as hating them. So
And they
I
also
like
have a
the
lot of old
Clippers.
Blazers.
Yes. Yeah. And they just are always dealt like such a bad hand. It's just like they're always going to be the underdog. They're always going to be like the little brother or the little sister or whatever. So I do enjoy rooting for the Clippers a bit just for spite. Except for when they're playing the Blazers, of course. Um,
You'll have to keep your eye out to see if Robin Lopez is in the house because he's not playing anywhere, and Brooke is now a Clipper. And you know
mm,
how those dudes love to go to Disneyland. I can
yes.
imagine him being like, "I'm just living with you now,
Yeah. Just
so we
my
can go to
kid.
Disneyland on your off days."
I gotta get a Batum jersey before I go down there. I want to get a Blazer Batum jersey so I can have that.
You gotta go to Back to the Basket,
Hmm. Yeah, I
find
will.
yourself a Batum jersey.
Yes, I will definitely do that. Okay, so another story that is slightly more Blazer adjacent. Hopefully, we'll find out that this Kawhi thing is not at all in any way Blazer adjacent.
I need it to not be.
Yes, please stay being a not Blazer adjacent. But Blazer adjacent, former Blazer Carmelo Anthony was just inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Do you have any thoughts or feelings about Carmelo's, I don't know, time in Portland or, anything else you want to say about Carmelo?
I mean, I'm happy for him. I think we all knew that this would happen, like what was coming or whatever. And this tells you how like I try to make everything all about me. The first thing that I thought of was when he was being inducted, and I was like, oh, good thing Neil O'Shea was such a good keeper of his legacy. Look at us being good stewards of his legacy. First ballot Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony, even though the reasons why he's being inducted has nothing to do with what he did here in Portland. Like, I'm very happy for him. It's awesome. I'm glad he played here, and I'm glad that he got like a nice exit from the NBA that wasn't like that Rockets Lakers whatever mess. Um, but I was like, look at Neil O'Shea somewhere in LA patting himself on the back about how he was such a good steward of this man's legacy, and he's only there because of what he did.
Yeah, except it wasn't like he got inducted in a Portland uniform.
Definitely, he didn't even mention us. Can
That's
you
what
imagine?
so that was my immediate to just to demonstrate how petty I am is that I immediately thought, oh, Neil Olshey is watching this and so mad right now because he never thanked Portland for taking such good care of his legacy. And I say this as somebody who did not watch the speech, so if I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen from other Blazer fans that the Blazers were not featured in his induction speech.
I didn't hear it. I didn't watch like the whole thing, like for like they did everybody, and they like they were honored him, and then they also like they did something for their redeemed team. But I didn't watch all of it. So he could have mentioned the Blazers at some other point, but not in like the speech
Yeah.
part that I saw.
Like
Um,
I mean, do you think we should feel slighted by that? Or I just,
no,
yeah.
I don't. Like, it was great that he was here, but he wasn't like even he didn't start here. He wasn't like a huge contributor here. I was mostly just glad that like, people were really down on him and when they he tried to play on a couple of other
Hmm.
teams it didn't work out for him. I was glad that this relatively worked out for him. And
Hmm.
he got to leave more on his own terms where he was still playing like pretty fun basketball and people weren't gonna poo-poo on him on his way out the door because that feels like a bad way to retire. But like I don't feel any certain way about whether or not he should have acknowledged his time here. Like I think we gave him a soft landing to finish his career,
Hmm.
and he was fun to watch for us, and he was nice to the fans when he was here, and
Yeah,
good enough.
I just remember appreciating like so when he was added to the God, what year was that even? When he joined the team, I just remember that we were in a low point as fans. It was I was still with Blazers Edge at the time, and a lot of people were pretty mad about it. They were like, "This is not okay because it's going to take time away from our younger players," which is, I think. Let's see if I can find the Carmelo Anthony. Okay,
He came to Portland in 2019.
did
And
he
I
come
forgot that
in?
the Lakers were after us.
Did he come in the eighteen
It was the
nineteen or the
Thunder and then
nineteen
the
twenty
Rockets.
season? Because I know
1920.
he was in the bubble.
1819, he was
Oh.
with Houston.
Oh my God. Let me let me just read to you the 2019 2020 roster. And I
Okay.
believe this was the year that started with an earthquake during summer league and ended with a pandemic. So that was yes, okay. So
Okay.
the Blazers roster that year, Jalen Adams, who I don't remember. Carmelo
Who?
Anthony, Jalen Adams. Maybe he was a two-wayer. So Jalen Adams, Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Moses Brown the first time around, Zach Collins, my sweet, wonderful Wenyan Gabriel, who I love, Mario Hazonia,
Oh my God.
Jalen Horde, Rodney Hood, Scal,
Oh,
Damian, Nazir, CJ, Yusuf Nurkic, Anthony Simons, Caleb Swanigan, Anthony Tolliver, Gary Trent Jr., and Hassan Whiteside. I feel like we should just
that's a really bad team.
that is a wild, wild roster.
Also, how many centers are on that team?
I mean, I believe there was a big trade at the trade deadline, but wow, that is
But
quite. No wonder Carmelo made it feel like it was fun. No
yeah.
wonder I felt like, okay, well, at least we have something fun to talk about when Carmelo Anthony came.
But how like I feel like you named like seven centers.
Yeah. Well, so Zach Collins was considered a power forward.
Oh, okay.
Um, you know,
Skull, Moses,
yeah, a lot of these guys were
Hassan
considered
Whiteside.
yeah, 'cause I will never ever get the vision of being in Phoenix and watching the game in Phoenix, and it was miserable. And Trevor Ariza just screaming at Hassan Whiteside because he was doing something wrong, and Ariza just lost it on him, just screamed at him. And so yeah. Anyway, no wonder I thought Carmelo was fun. So
I mean,
congratulations to Carmelo Anthony.
he definitely was fun, and I'm glad that he's getting having his career recognized. And I also will say, like, I actually really, really enjoy that he's being recognized without a ring because I think that for a while everybody was so focused on rings as
Mhm,
being like the ultimate like measure of someone's career, and this is
mhm.
like a good demonstration that it's not.
Yeah,
There are other ways to measure someone's impact and career that
yeah.
aren't just about how many rings they're wearing at the end of it all.
Well, and he did have a national championship.
Yes.
So he did have like that winner. We talk about that. I would talk about that all the time. My sister lives in Syracuse and they're huge Syracuse fans. So they of course love Carmelo and they're so excited that his son is there. And I was sending all the pictures yesterday and they were like, "Yes, we're so excited." She said the whole front page of their paper today is all Carmelo Anthony.
Very good. Yeah, that's lovely.
Also a what award
Di-
winner. So that's not nothing.
that's right. He is for bringing his pot here on
Laser
420.
Legend Award.
Um, did you also see that they acknowledged the Redeem team,
Oh yes. Yeah, I
which he was
thought
a member of?
right. I thought that was a weird team to acknowledge because they went and did the thing that they probably should have done 4 years before, and it more highlighted the fact that 4 years earlier the
They
Redeem
didn't.
team or the team didn't win a gold medal at the Olympics.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird to be like, good job, you cleaned up your mess that you made.
Yeah. Speaking
And
of rosters, yeah, who was
so
on the
I was looking at the roster for the team that won the bronze.
okay, the non-redeem, the
The
shame
non yes, yes,
team.
the team that set the conditions for the Redeem
Yeah.
team.
Right, and they couldn't
So
have done it without him.
yeah, so I just like so first of all, it's half the Redeem team. Half the Redeem team played on the team that won the
Okay,
bronze
so it
too.
wasn't like, oh, we're getting rid of the entire roster and rebuilding the whole roster. Okay, so who is on it?
No.
The
So,
bronze winning
okay,
team.
they were co-captains. They were co-captains for this team, for the team that won the bronze.
Okay.
And they were Tim Duncan and Allen Iverson.
Tim Duncan couldn't win a gold medal with this team. What's the matter with them?
I didn't care that much.
I guess not. Where, okay, so it was 2008 was the Redeem team. Where was the 2004 Olympics?
It was in Athens.
Oh, that was where they stayed on the yacht, I think.
Yes. I mean, yes, on the Mediterranean. Because I mean,
Yes.
it was like a party year. They were on the Mediterranean in the summer,
Yeah.
and a lot of these guys were young. It was 2004. Like they were, it's like before, like a lot of them were married and had little kids, so I'll tell you, this is the team. Allen Iverson and Tim Duncan were co-captains. This team had Stephon Marbury, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Carlos Boozer, Melo, Emeka Okafor, Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire, Lamar Odom and Richard Jefferson. That's the bronze team.
So LeBron was on that team
Yes.
and Tim Duncan, I can't believe they couldn't win a gold
Tim
medal.
Duncan.
So who came back? Who's on the Redeem team? Who did they
So the
add?
Rede so the Redeem team, this is it's important to note that like they cleaned house on the coaches. Like that team that won bronze, like Larry Brown was the head coach, Pop was an assistant, Roy Williams, Oliver Purnell, who I don't know.
Pop
But
was
then the
on
two,
the gold
yeah,
or the bronze medal. He coached the bronze team.
yeah, I think he was the top assistant on the bronze team. Which is weird because then he came back later and was like the head coach. But for 2008, he was gone completely. And this is when they went to Mike Krzyzewski. They brought in Mike Krzyzewski and his assistants were Jim Boeheim, Nate McMillan, and Mike D'Antoni.
Okay.
But the 2008 team had a lot of the same guys. Carlos Boozer was on this team, LeBron was on this team, Dwayne Wade was on this team. Um, Carmelo was on this team. Now, here's the interesting part. The captain, they had a singular captain this time around. And I said it was like Allen Iverson and Tim Duncan. It was Kobe Bryant this time, who was not
Oh, they
on the
could not mess
2004 team.
around.
No. So they brought Kobe to drop the hammer and make this team like a serious team. And I also noticed that Chris Paul was added to this team.
Oh my
So they
God.
had Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant breathing down their necks this time. There was not going to be a Mediterranean yacht. Also, they're in China, but it
I bet they
was
all
not
had
going
their
to be the
shirts
same
tucked
vacation
in.
that it was.
Well, congratulations to them.
Yes. The most surprising member of this team to me, like when I look at the Redeem team, is Michael Redd.
Who?
Michael Redd.
I don't even know.
So it's like, all these guys,
Was he the
it's like all
college
these guys
player?
who's
I don't even.
no,
Who's
he played
Michael
for the
Red?
Bucks. He played for the Bucks. I think he was an all-star, like right around this time. He was like a one-time all-star.
I have
Um,
no idea who that person is.
but it's like the team is all like the who's who of people, even though
Yeah.
Carlos Boozer, I don't even think of as that as like in the same breath as some of these guys, obviously, but it's like all recognizable names. Boozer, Jason
Hmm.
Kidd, LeBron, Deron Williams was on this team, Dwayne Wade, Kobe, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Tayshaun Prince, Carmelo Anthony, and Michael Redd.
I'll have to go watch some Red highlights to remind myself who he is because I have no idea who he is.
He is a one-time NBA All-Star in 2004.
Okay, well, and he is also an Olympic gold medalist and now a member of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So there you go.
Yes, very good. Michael Redd.
Congratulations to all the members of the Reed Dream Team and especially Michael Red.
I don't know about you, but the first thing I thought of when I saw this, I was like, I bet you this was not a fun Olympics
No.
for this team.
No, I bet I also bet it was not fun for the teams that played them. I bet it was
Yes.
miserable.
That's right. Because these guys were all hungry and they were all like a little, half of those guys were probably a little embarrassed.
Hmm.
Um, but I
I
remember when I was in the last Olympics when I saw them interviewing Kevin Durant and they were talking about Kevin Durant's like record with most medals. It was like he was not a member of that team that won bronze, I believe. So, like some of these other guys that have as many medals as him, they're not all gold,
they're not all
like Kevin
gold.
Durant's.
Hmm. I like the name I think I like how the 2008 team is the Redeem Team and the 2004 is the Conditions for Redeem Team. I love that name.
I
Well,
mean, it's true. You don't
congratulations.
have the Redeem team without that team.
That's right. That's right. It was like they were playing the long game.
Yeah, that's
It
right. Who
was
did they lose to? They lost to Spain, or who did they lose
it
to?
was also they could get Michael Redd into the Hall of Fame. No shade to him. I'm sure he's amazing and deserves all of the accolades. And I should really know who I'm speaking of. And I will research him next.
I love it when guys like that get like a little moment. Like
Yes.
like a little thing where you can like when they look back at their career, they're like, yeah, I did that. The Rodney Hood game in the playoffs, I did
Yeah.
that.
I only wish like Andrew Nicholson could have been on the team.
If only.
I love that guy. And now the Milwaukee Bucks have their own Andrew Nicholson equivalent in the Damian Lillard era. They're in the Damian Lillard era where they'll be paying off the wave and stretch of Damian Lillard.
That's right. Also, I mean, a lot
A
of
lot of
teams are
teams that
sort of
yes.
in eras. So we're in like the Didi Louzada era, but it also crosses over now with the DeAndre Ayton era.
Yes. I'm so excited we have a DeAndre Ayton era.
Yeah,
I hadn't
I
even
figured
thought
you might
about
like that.
that. Oh, that's so
It's the lose.
exciting.
Yeah, it's the Didi DeAndre era.
I remember when we found out about that, and I said to the group chat, I wonder if other people are going to do this now. And sure enough, there were other teams. I had not even thought about how we now have a DeAndre Ayton era, but we didn't. That's only got to be like, what, 3 years? Or how many years did we owe on him? Okay.
Two, I think.
We owed two. Oh, so it's going to be 5 years.
I think it's two.
So
I'm
the
not
play.
actually sure.
Okay, let's confirm this. Let's see, I'm going through basketball reference. Okay, contracts.
So
Last,
he
where's the contracts? Okay. Oh, no, that's not the right one. I don't want the
so in
salary.
2002 he signed a 4 year.
Okay.
So
I need the,
actually, yeah.
this is very exciting podcasting while we're looking it up, but I want to know exactly how long the we get
The
to sell
DeAndre Ayton era is gonna last.
the DeAndre Ayton era. Okay, tell more Trailblazers pages, transactions. Is that what it'll give me? No, I don't
One of
want.
the
I
things
want the
I
little
will say,
chart that says. Why can't I find it? Okay, well, at some point when we're talking about something else, I will go find it and I will announce in the middle. That'll be my take. Is something about the DeAndre Ayton era. So as soon as I figure out exactly what the what it is.
well, and also I want to point out that the DeAndre Ayton era made possible the return of Damian Lillard.
Hmm.
So like we don't without the DeAndre Ayton era, we don't have Damian Lillard back in a Trailblazers uniform. So when people want to be funny about DeAndre, even though we are a pro DeAndre Ayton podcast, I know some people are a little funny about him. Just remember, you would not have Damian Lillard wearing red and black again if it were not for the DeAndre Ayton era.
I yeah. Okay, I can't find it what I'm looking for right now, but I will find it in a moment. Let's go ahead and should we go ahead and move on to talking about what we're looking for this upcoming season? And this is not what we're hoping for. Hope
That's
is
different.
a whole separate podcast.
Yes.
These are just the things that we're going to be watching and looking for. Would you like to go first?
Yeah. So so first of all, I hadn't really thought about this like all summer because there were so many roster changes, so many different messaging things that happened. Like I was like, I don't even know what I don't know who I'm expecting to start. I don't know who like is going to be like coming off the bench, who's even going to be in the rotation at this point. Um, so like it was hard for me to even think about it because even though a lot of stuff was going well at the end of last season, it's not clear to me with all of the changes that happened that they're just going to necessarily do exactly the same thing. I think it's going to be related, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be exactly the same thing. But one of the things that I was thinking about when I was thinking about this question was when the first time we went to the Chalk Talk and we heard uh Andre and Mike talk about
Our best friends,
um
Andre and Mike.
yes, our best yeah, we're on a first name basis now where I say Andre and Mike are our old pals. We're talking about uh what they wanted to see from this team. I remember Mike Schmitz talking about the team challenging Shaedon to play defense.
Hmm.
And so one of the things I'm looking for this season is Shaedon playing defense? Because I think that you and I both through our time watching him have seen him go through kind of like phases where he looks like he wants the ball. He looks like he's like fading into the background. He looks like he's engaged on defense. He looks like he's lost. Like I want to know what he's doing on defense because if that's like clearly the identity of this team is we play tough defense, like to stay on the floor, you either have to be so good at offense that you don't need to play defense or you need to be good at defense. And I'm inclined to believe that still being good on defense is better.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's the one of the things I'm looking for. Is Shaedon playing defense?
Yeah, yeah, if he wants to see the floor, he is. Like you
I,
said.
they benched him last season when he wasn't like engaging that way.
Hmm.
And they brought him off the bench and like they weren't afraid to like be tough on him.
Do you think Shaden, I know this is like coming kind of from out of the blue, but do you think he's more likely, if he was going to be good at defense, do you think he's more likely to be good at one-on-one or team, like being like off the ball defense? I feel like it's probably gonna, my gut says one-on-one because it's easier to engage with that, but I'm not sure. Not that I'm
Can
saying
I
he's going to be great at it. I mean, maybe he will be. Let me say that to the universe. Maybe he will be great at that.
I'm inclined to also think it's more likely that he's better at one-on-one, but also like you said, it's maybe a little more straightforward. And like I haven't actually seen him read what other people are doing that well consistently.
Hmm.
They're like so when even when he was trying, like there was like a point like in the spring where I could see him really trying on defense. There were still a lot of times where he would just get lost and he
Hmm.
wasn't guarding anybody. And when he's trying to figure out how to like play off of his teammates, he would sometimes get lost. He'd be like, "Is this a switch? Is this not a switch? Where'd my guy go? I don't know who I'm guarding anymore." And that was really hard for him because sometimes you'd see him standing in the middle of something and not doing anything.
Hmm.
So I'm inclined to think that like it would probably be easier for him to play one-on-one. But that said, you never know. Like he might have a really high basketball IQ and we just haven't seen it all come together yet. And then suddenly he's a great like team player too. So I don't know.
Right. Well, and with other defensive players on the team, it's not like he's going to be called to like guard the best player, right? So
Yes.
he could be perfectly serviceable as like guarding the third or fourth best player and, on the other team. So he doesn't have to be the best. Um,
That's another thing to look out for. Not just is Shaedon playing defense, but what assignments do they give
yeah.
him?
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I like that one.
Like it could be really interesting. I would love to see him have a breakout defensive season where suddenly you can see the vision for how he fits into this team. Because if this is really our identity going forward, there's not a lot of space for guys who can't play defense.
Yeah, but we also really need somebody who can score.
That's
We
right.
we really need somebody who can score.
That's right. So what about you? What is something that you are looking for this season?
Okay, well, this is something that kind of started last year, and it was a little bit inspired by you actually at the beginning of last season when we were like, how are we going to survive all this? And you said something about, I can't remember if you said we just need to look at it like a quarter at a time or like a half at a time. We just like we
Quarter mile at a time, like we're Dominic Toretto and Fast and the Furious. Yeah, I
yeah.
said that.
So, I'm looking for 25-point quarters, and I was doing this last year as well. And 25-point quarters are, could they score 25 points in a quarter? But now I'm going to be looking more at can they hold the other team to 25 points or less a quarter? So it's kind of both things. But for me, that was kind of like a measure of like, was this a good quarter? And with the lack of let's say I don't know, I'm not saying we're going to have a lack of offense, but we have had a loss of offense with Anthony and Deandre Ayton gone. That's like a lot of points that just walked out the door, and they were really effectively replaced by a rookie and Jrue Holiday. So not sure. So yeah, 25-point quarter is going to be sort of my, I'm not gonna like, judge the whole game on it, but if they score 25 points, I'm like, okay, we're doing not great, but good enough. And if they can hold the other team to less than 25, I think that's a good sign.
I love that. And it also like it highlights this like different uh perspective we now have on our team, which is now we think that offense is going to be the hardest part.
Hmm.
Whereas for like so long we had like 10 years where it was just like we could score so many points, but we also couldn't stop the other team from scoring like ever.
Yeah,
And this really highlights, I think, like the right thing, which is where all the points going to come from now. And not to say that the guys that we have now don't score, but they don't score in volume like we had once upon a time.
right. Like Anthony could get hot and he could
Yeah.
score a lot of points. You could, with some exceptions, you could really count on buckets from him. And DeAndre Ayton, he liked to score. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see where those points come from.
And we have this team now with guys who are good facilitators, where we now it's nice because it's not just like for a long time it was like point guard, that was your facilitator. Damian Lillard, he was your facilitator. But now we have a bunch of guys who can facilitate. Denny can facilitate and
Mhm.
Scoot can facilitate, and we have some centers that can facilitate. Like this, there's a good opportunity here, but the facilitators need scorers in order to make any use of their skills.
Yeah. Yeah. They need to finish in transition. That's a, there's, they left a lot of points on the table, I think, last year, especially at the beginning of the season. So that was not what I was looking for, but that's an honorable mention is being able to finish in transition. What about you? What's your next thing?
My next thing is who closes games?
Hmm.
I mean, we looked at it last year a little bit. I was paying attention to that a little bit because I remember there being a little like hot streak in there where they were letting Scoot finish games, which made me really happy. But like with all of the roster shakeups, I'm not totally sure who finishes games. And I know that sometimes it's conditioned on like, who's in foul trouble, what team you're playing, what are you trying to accomplish here?
How
Are you
far are they
behind or are you
behind
ahead?
or ahead?
Yeah. But I just want to know generally like who we look to finish in what circumstances, because I think that will tell you a lot about who's got trust.
Yeah, especially with the center rotation.
Yeah, because we got real young at center.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that'll
I
be.
I don't know how you feel about this, but like I realized with DeAndre Ayton leaving, like the centers don't have like I guess Robert Williams is kind of like their like vet that is supposed to help them. I always forget he's on our team because I
Yes.
feel like I haven't seen him play in forever. But like we got suddenly very young. And the
Hmm.
guys who are going to play the bulk of minutes, feel like are probably going to be really young.
Yeah, they are, but we have Tiago Splitter now.
Magician.
Yeah, I don't even have a guess because I don't even know who's going to start, much less finish. And I think you're right. It's very game dependent, but it will also be yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's earning the trust to close those out.
Yeah.
Okay, I have
I
bad.
think for the record, I just want to say I think Donovan starts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I believe Don. Yeah, with the start. Yeah, with yeah, I definitely think Donovan starts. But it's like all the other positions that I'm not sure. I'm less sure
Yeah.
about. He's the one I think I'm most sure about. Okay, I have bad news about the DeAndre Ayton era. It appears, according to Basketball Reference, that they are only paying him this season. So I think they just straight up bought him out. I don't. It does not appear
Oh.
on Basketball Reference as a wave and stretch. So we still
Oh.
have four more seasons of the Didi Louzada era, but this is the double DeAndre Didi era
Okay.
just
So
this
just
year.
this season.
Yeah, so we really need to appreciate it.
This Blazers this season of Trailblazers basketball has been sponsored by DeAndre Ayton. Maybe they should give him the jersey patch sponsorship
It could
for
be
that buyout.
dominating. They should put dominating on the jersey patch. We should get some custom jerseys made and then put like a little dominating patch on it to remember this year forever. I love it. Okay, so the next thing that I am going to be looking for is Jrue Holiday's defense. I've been watching a lot of Jrue Holiday defensive highlights. There's like a million like basketball tutorials out there for like how to play defense. Here's 9 million Jrue Holiday things. I mean, he is so good and they are so fun to watch because once you look at what he does, it's like, wow, this I mean he's amazing. And he does some of my favorite defensive things, which are like just grabbing the ball out of somebody's hand. I love it when they just grab the ball. And like Jabari used to do that sometimes, like in especially in like rebounding situations. But Drew just does it like all over the place. And just like if anybody hasn't watched a bunch of Drew Holiday's defensive highlights, they are so fun to see the types of things that he does. So, but the other thing about it is I was watching and I was like, well, Tumani does a lot of those things as well. He just,
Hmm.
doesn't have as much experience at it. And then I started thinking, because I've also been listening to like podcasts with Drew Holiday in, preparation for when we talk about, our deep dive on Drew Holiday. Um, and he loves to guard the best player on the field. And so does Sumani. So,
Hmm.
we always, used to have the problem of, the common problem is, there's all these players who want the ball and, who's going to have the ball, who's going to get the most shots. And now it's like, wait, who gets to guard the best player on the other team? How are they going to work that out?
Yeah, and then also like I mean, we have Matisse still. Like
Yeah.
when I'm thinking about like there's definitely a lineup of death out there to be had that or whatever you want to call them. But like I was thinking like Drew,
Mm-hmm.
Matisse, Tumani,
Money.
Denny, and Donovan.
I know. That's gonna be miserable
Yeah, like if
to
I
play
don't know where the
against.
points would come from exactly. I guess they're gonna come from Denny. But like that is a lineup like built to if you're ahead, say like park the bus or whatever,
Yeah.
like you just ride out the conditions that you're in at that moment and
Yeah.
be like, you're not scoring again. We might not score
Yeah.
either,
You
but you're
build a
not
lead,
scoring.
you put in that lineup to make sure that nobody else scores.
It's it's wild to think that we have that many guys on the Blazers that can play defense, if I'm being totally honest.
Hmm.
Because we used to have like one guy on the Blazers that could play that kind of defense. And when it's one guy, like there's only so much they can do.
Yeah.
You can have put out a whole lineup of guys that are really good at defense. It might be really, really fun and
Right. Who are
impressive.
going to argue about who gets to guard the best player?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they're not going
Drew,
to argue.
Tumani, they're gonna have to flip a coin. Maybe it's about
Yeah.
size or
Right. And like,
switches.
yeah, what if you switch and you get switched from Tumani to Jrue Holiday? Like, what a nightmare that is. Also, can't stress enough, and I think I said this the last time we talked, can't stress enough how great it is that we no longer have to worry about Jrue Holiday guarding any of our players because he's on our team.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. If there's somebody that you hate playing against, just go out and get them on your team.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. I was thinking about, remember last season we talked about how like Tumani Denny switches were really crappy for players. Like be
Mhm.
like, oh, you put in all this work to get a switch, and then your switch is
Yeah.
just Denny for Tumani or Tumani for Denny.
Hmm.
Um, I just can't remember the last time we also had this many guys that could like guard multiple positions.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like Denny could guard 1 through 5.
Hmm.
Tumani could probably guard 1 through 5, although I'd probably say more like optimistically 1 through 4.
Yeah. So can Drew,
But
he
like,
can do all 1 through 5. He does
yeah, it's
five less, because he's 35 years old. But
yeah.
he can do it.
I remember being shocked when we played, I think it was the Rockets. And Denny was like the guy who guarded Şengün, like he was like the primary defender for Şengün, and I was like, "Really?" And it worked. It was fine. It was just really weird because I didn't really realize that that was part of his bag, but like what do you do with a team like that? How do you like prepare for it to play against a team like that? You just prepare like I guess your very best plan A and hope it's good.
Yeah. Well, and now we know it's on purpose too. The
Mhm.
defense isn't just like luck. It's like, oh no, these are players chosen and for their craft and who love their craft. And that's a fun thing. It's like they're not out there like, playing for spite. They're just playing because they love to play defense. And okay, I am 100% not comparing myself to any of these guys, but when I played soccer, that was my thing, is I always got to guard the best player on the other team because I loved it. That was so much fun, frustrating them and like making them have to change their plans and like making things hard on them. Like that's a special kind of fun, and I would rather do that than score because that was just what I enjoyed. And now we have a team full like I can relate to that kind of thing when these guys say, "Oh yeah, I love to play defense." And I get it because it just hit me that like, yeah, I love to play defense too. I can relate to that.
That's really funny. I I love this idea though that like that is also like a feather in your cap that like, making somebody else go from plan A to plan B is just as good as scoring, is just as good as all these other things that we like, worship in sports. But like making someone change their plans, like, yeah, that's
Wow, I need to reflect on that for a little bit because it's pretty much my personality. All right, what's next for you?
um this one's really simple because I'll say there's a lot of interest around the center position on our team, for me included. Like I'm very curious. Like I told you, I think Donovan's gonna start, but I don't know what the rotations look like. I don't know. After Donovan starts, I don't know how long he plays, who comes in after him. I don't know any of this. And so, very simply, I'm looking for how many minutes is Donovan going to play? Because we did see his minutes ramp up over the season last year. And I think part of that was related to conditioning. Part of that was related to him being able to stay in and stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I'm curious, like, how many minutes are they really going to play him? There was a couple games where they played him like 35 minutes, and I was like, oh, Donovan can go 35 minutes. But I don't know if that's like the ideal plan or what they are hoping to get out of him. And I don't know if he's the closer, like I said before. But I'm curious how much he plays, how much of him is how much he feels like the starter, or how much it feels like a shared position of like importance around center. I just
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah, I think like what you said about just who can stay on because we have two such young centers who are I would think are, they're planning that they're going to get a lot of fouls.
Yeah.
Um and so yeah, how often are they both going to be in foul trouble? It is nice to know that Robert Williams is there, and that also that, they still have WAP for a different look. So it's good that they have, a little bit of depth on in the center because yeah, I just imagine there will be a lot of foul trouble. Although it wasn't as bad last year with Donovan as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I
Yeah.
was expecting Myers Leonard like levels of fouling, and that did not feel like that to me at all.
WAP, it feels like a really important insurance policy because I think that he is like a little bit, he can do a little bit of both of what Donovan and um Hansen can do. But like I'll say for me, I like kind of forgot about it last season, right? Because oftentimes we only played WAP when he was like, we need a guy who can stretch the floor.
Yeah.
But I remember there being a few games in there where we genuinely needed him to play center because we were in foul trouble or whatever. And I forgot he has great footwork inside. He can still finish inside too, and can block a few shots. Like he's totally playable in multiple scenarios. And when we have two young guys who are learning how to like do things well, I, he just feels like really valuable and worth more than what his contract is costing us while
Hmm.
we figure out what the future of the center position looks like. And to your point about Donovan not looking as problematic last summer or last year as you thought he might, one of the things that he was so good at was staying down.
Hmm.
Like Donovan stays down more than a lot of young centers tend to stay down like their rookie season. It's really, and that's honestly, that's what I wish, that's what the number one thing I want him to teach Hansen is how to
Hmm.
stay down because they're so big. I'm like, don't jump. It's okay.
Hmm.
Don't do it. Just make the shot hard. You don't need to block it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great observation. That'll be definitely something to look for. I feel like Donovan, one of the things I enjoyed watching him is that he was so coachable. I mean, not, yeah, I mean, he seems like he really is able to apply the things that he was learning very quickly. It didn't seem like it was, there's a lot of things that he needed to figure out, but like he figured them out pretty quickly once they were identified for him.
Yeah, and we have two centers right now that feel very team oriented.
Yeah.
And I think Robert Williams is also really team oriented, but we haven't seen him play since forever. So, um,
Oh, I
you
would
know,
love, God, I hope it would be so great if we got to watch Robert Williams play because just the little bits that we've seen of him are so tantalizing.
I know. I want it's like I want more of him. It's like getting a really good sample at Costco and you're like, "Oh, I gotta go buy that."
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. They're sold out. And
Right.
I'm like, "Ah,
So every
give
time
us a
you go, you look.
give us a little more Robert Williams."
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I I don't know if we're gonna how much we're gonna see him, but I would love to see more of him.
Yeah. And I know that he's a very valuable person to have on the team. Especially, with, we have Damian Lillard back, but I think the last couple of years it's been unclear sort of like who was the voice in the locker room. And I think that he had, from what people who cover the team talk about, he was really important for that. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think he'll have a
true.
little more help this year, but I do like having him.
Yeah. So what about you? What's your last thing that you're looking for?
So the last thing I'm looking for is what on earth is this team going to do with Jerami Grant? Or what on earth is Jerami Grant going to be doing this year on this team?
That was my bonus question. My bonus question was really, is Jeremy Grant a super sub?
Yeah, could be. I mean, I have no idea. This story is to me completely unwritten. I have no idea what's going to happen with him.
And it's clear that like so like a lot of people saw that like his partner posted a I don't know, a TikTok or whatever about them looking for a new house because they hadn't figured out where they were going to live because they weren't sure they were going to be here,
Hmm.
which you can read into all the way different ways that you want, but one of the things that I thought about was like they probably have made it really clear that like they might be trying to move him and then they didn't and they couldn't. And so if you tried to move somebody and you couldn't do it, what do you do with them professionally when they have to be here? Like you don't I mean I don't think they're just going to bench him and never like he's never going to see the light of day, but I'm like how do you use him, also highlight his skills and
Hmm.
keep him like engaged in the team but also not center the future around him.
Yeah. I feel like he's maybe just in that rotating cast of 6'7" to 6'9" guys that just rotates through. And I don't know if he starts. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to believe when it comes to the, oh, if you pay somebody X amount of money, you have to start them versus everybody has to earn their spot. And I really can't tell what is true about that. And like I feel like he should be somebody that the coach probably trusts, but
Hmm.
I feel like there's multiple players in that, that 3-4 position that the coach trusts who are younger. And yeah, I don't know. It's a complete mystery to me. Total mystery.
Whenever people are like, "Oh, you have to start people that make a certain amount of money," I feel like it's based on a common wisdom that isn't necessarily true anymore. People used to also say that you don't buy guys out really. And we just saw a summer where so many guys were bought out or
Mhm.
waived and stretched or whatever. Like I don't think that the common wisdom necessarily stays true forever, and I think this is one of those ways in which it might not again
Mhm.
because I can't imagine who you bench to start Jeremy Grant on this team. Who do you
Mhm.
bench?
I mean, yeah, you don't bench Denny and you don't bench Tumani.
No, you don't. They made it very clear that those guys are like they were like we are the foundation for the future.
Hmm.
So if you don't bench those two guys, like who do you
Yeah.
bench?
I mean, I would lean towards what you were saying about him being a super sub.
Mm,
If I didn't have something in my ear going, but he makes too much money, it doesn't matter who starts, it matters who finishes, and all the things that we hear. And I guess
mm,
to me, that's kind of what makes this interesting is to see
mm.
what the story's going to be. Like a lot of people, I think, like to think that they know what's going to happen because it makes them feel comfortable. I kind of like not knowing what's going to happen because I can't wait to see what the story is.
Yeah, it could be really interesting. And also, like we said, there's a big question mark of where do all the points come from? If you need points, Jeremy is maybe the guy that you bring in to
Maybe.
get you some points.
Yeah, I don't know. I also kind of feel like Jeremy, so obviously I think he's, a great basketball player because he wouldn't be in the NBA and he wouldn't, be who he is and where he is without being really, really good at what he does. But also sometimes I think, is he one of those players that kind of got pulled into like success and
Mm.
like when he's on a team that isn't already successful? what can he how can he apply himself to make the team more successful? And I'm waiting to see what that might look like, let's just say.
Yeah,
No
there haven't
shade to
been
him.
very many opportunities in his career where he was brought in and was affected the change. He was either there to like stay the course or
Hmm.
was like the like kind of a couple of times he's been late to the party where the team is already on the decline
Yeah.
or in due for a major shakeup like with he came here um when he thought
Yeah.
he was coming for one reason and it turns out to be another.
Yeah. for
Denver is
that.
the only one I can think of where he was like set up to like play a role and the team was ascending.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he went to Detroit because he wanted to, part of it is he wanted to be a leader. And that,
Right. He
um,
he leveraged that opportunity in Denver for Detroit, and
mhm.
then Detroit fell apart shortly thereafter.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's my third thing is just watching what they do with Jerami Grant and what his season is.
It's a really good question. I have a question for you, and if you don't
Okay.
have an answer, that's totally okay. What position do you think Tumani plays this year?
I think he plays the three mostly. I think,
Yeah.
when you look at basketball reference and they break down the position, I think he's like 68% three
Mm-hmm.
and, 40, let's see, let me do the math. I think he's going to have like 4% center and like 4% the two, and then
Mm.
mostly three, and then the rest is four. What do you think?
I mean, I think that sounds right, but I was just thinking about like what our specifically the shooting guard position looks like
Mhm.
on this team, and I think that that's like the biggest question mark to me is like Shaedon, I think starts probably.
I kind of feel like I feel like Scoot is gonna start with Jrue, and then Scoot's gonna come off and Shaden's gonna come on.
Mm, that's interesting. So anyway, the two I just don't feel like that confident about the two.
Hmm.
And Tumani shot very well from three last year,
Hmm.
and I can't imagine he gets worse. Um, I mean, I guess he could get
From your
worse, but
mouth
I,
to
I
God's
hope
ears.
I hope he doesn't get worse. Um, but there's even if you said like so if even if you start talking about moving like Jrue to the two or whatever and they play together, Jrue and Scoot, like then there's Shaedon and then there's what?
Hmm.
Matisse?
Yeah, I
Is
always
Matisse
forget
the
about
two?
Matisse,
Yeah,
but they do
Matisse.
well. And there's Chris Murray.
Oh yeah.
We haven't mentioned him.
He played three though, right? He was
Yeah,
like
he's
wasn't he
like a
like
three
kind of
four.
he was like backing up Tumani quite a bit.
Hmm.
Anyway, the biggest question mark for me is that shooting guard position. And I'm just like, what do you do with that? I think that we have a lot of guys that are really flexible that can play like a multiple positions, which is really nice and feels like a luxury right now. Um, but I don't know, like when I think about who starts at the two, it's not clear to me who most people believe is going to be the starting two
Hmm.
and whether it stays that way. How
Yeah.
confident we are it stays that way.
I guess I think that Shaden is not gonna start because they're gonna want all the as much defense as they can possibly get in there, and because I think Shaden does well when he gets to like look at what's going on and
Mm.
then come
Get the
out.
feel for the game.
Yeah. I mean, what do I know about that? But that's just kind of like I feel like that's the best position for him to succeed would be coming off the bench because he could also, hopefully dominate other bench or, be able to like have more impact against the other team's bench than maybe he would against their starting lineups.
Yeah. I just really want to see him make that like leap that they've been looking for because I feel like he started a little bit. There were games where he looked really great, but the consistency aspect of it is so hard. And I'm like, I just want to see you do that consistently. And I don't know what will motivate you to do it now, but it's like I'm also really selfish and I'm like, this is the year where we have to make a big decision about it.
Hmm. Yeah. I just had a take and it's not a very fun one, but I'm gonna give it anyway.
Yes, you know what? It's great. We're right here where it's take time.
It is
Tara, what's
because
your take?
I so badly want to see Shaden and Damian play together. I kind of think we're never going to see that.
Oh.
I kind of think that given the way that the team is building, and once the team knows a little bit more about what they need, I think Shaedon is ascending enough that he will make himself very valuable. I think he will be valuable. But I think by the time that Damian comes back, I don't know if Shaedon will be on the team anymore.
That's a take, Tara.
It is a take. You wanted to
That's a
take. If you wouldn't
yeah.
accept that everything I think is a take, you wanted to take. I'm sorry if that is a sad and depressing take, but I only think it is because I want it so bad because I remember that one game where they started together. That one game that was so fun that they won. But then when I think about it logically, it's like I don't know. Because who when
Yeah.
Damian comes back, like what's his role gonna be? What's Scoot's role gonna be? What are we gonna do with all, we're getting into maybe oops all guards again.
Yeah, it's such a fine line, right?
Right.
Between like
And we
oops all guard,
know,
oops
and
all center.
this is super depressing, so I'm sorry that I'm ending this way. But but we know there's gonna be a day where we go, oh, Lillard's back and we're gonna have to make some sacrifices. We know that. We know that it's like we love it. But we know there's gonna be a day where we're like, oh, what did they do? And I'm still gonna love that Damian Lillard is on the team, but I'm just saying that there are going to be trade-offs. There's just no way. Like that's why this is hard. That's why there's only so many people who can be GMs. That's why this is hard.
Yeah. I'm curious if Damian Lillard plays a different role on this new team than that. Like, so we're all making some assumptions about what kind of player he's, because one, they're
Yeah.
like what kind of player he's going to be when he comes back. One, he's going to be coming back from a very difficult injury. Two, he's coming back from a difficult injury and he's much older than he was when he was here before.
Mhm.
And three, this team is in a much different place than it was when before he left. And I was wondering, I'm like, is Damian Lillard going to play some too?
Mm. He
Could
needs the
Damian
ball in
Lillard play
his
some?
hand. I don't know. I mean, I think about it, is he going to come off the bench? In a perfect world, Scoot takes the big leap, that such a big leap that it's like, okay, we can't lose Scoot. And Damien's and again, perfect world scenario. Damien's like, it's fine, I'll come off the bench. I'll be super sub. I mean, that's what I think would be like the perfect story, right? Like Damian
Mm,
Lillard is the one superstar who sees what's happening and goes, "Oh, you know what? Instead of fighting this for 2 years, I'm just going to be like, I see that's where my best, use is. Let me go there." Will this happen? I think it's like, is he going to be the first one ever of the 4,000 people who played in the NBA who's like,
I
"Oh
mean,
yeah,
we
I
can
can see it."
hope. Damian Lillard is the first pro athlete that like I have been a fan of that's done a lot of things that I didn't expect most pro athletes to ever do, you know? Um, and so
Why not?
why not this time too, Tara? I guess
Why
is what
not?
I'm saying.
I am not at all saying that it is not possible, and that is not what I'm hoping for with everything in my heart. I'm just trying to
Mm,
be realistic.
yeah. I'm just curious because we did see him play a different role in Milwaukee. He didn't get to play the point guard role the way that he played it in Portland, and he didn't have the ball in his hands as much as he did here.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know like what his flexibility is still at this time or what it will need to be because of, you know, his age, his health, all of that, but it would be interesting if the two problem was solved because Damian Lillard was like, I'm gonna play some shooting guard.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be. And if anybody was gonna do it, it's our guy.
Yeah. Who's just really happy to be home.
Right. That's amazing. Okay, how about you?
I
What's
think
your
about it like once a week.
please have a happier take than mine.
Uh so this was I've been thinking about this take because, you know, this is the last summer. We're ending the last summer where I was realizing where we don't have year-round basketball.
Oh, yes.
And my take is I'm so excited for year-round basketball in Portland. Like we're finishing up right now. As soon as this next season starts, theoretically, as long as there is a collective bargaining agreement that is signed, like we are going to have basketball that rolls into more basketball that rolls back into basketball. Like we are going to be basketballed to the brim.
Hmm.
This is the end, everybody. It's September. Next month, basketball starts and it's never going to stop
Yes.
unless there's a lockout.
And the fire stole two folks from the Golden Valkyries, which I know that they're different, but they're not that different. Come on. They say golden on them. So the
They
Blazers.
have they have Kings colors though.
I'm sure they're a great team. But I just love the Blazers stole their assistant GM, or the Fire stole their assistant GM.
Yeah, because to be the RGM or
Mhm.
are they the president of
Oh, I
basketball
don't know.
operations, or are
I
they the
thought it was
GM?
GM,
They're
but
I think they're the GM. I think that's right. I knew though that we had like no leadership because we like hired somebody and then we fired them and then we
yeah.
were like, oh,
Ugh.
we better find some people. Um, but I'm thrilled about their hire, and I'm just thrilled that we're right here on the precipice of basketball forever in Portland.
Yay. Yes, that's a much better take than mine and a much happier take than mine. I'm so glad that we ended with that one. Uh,
Um,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, we should probably be thinking about awards soon.
Hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
I would say I would invite our listeners to weigh in on awards that you think that we should give out this year.
Hmm.
Because we period, we usually like year to year kind of decide which ones are useful,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know. Send us messages. Let us know what you want to be looking for this year. Because before long, the season will be upon us and it'll be time for us to decide
Yeah.
what
And
awards we're looking out for the season.
we're gonna be in it. Well, thank you everyone who listened today, to everyone who's made it this far. You can find me at TCB Biggs on Blue Sky. You can find Rose at Rose L. Harding. You can also have the podcast at We Have a Take. We're also on YouTube. So thank you for everyone who watches us on YouTube. I think that's about it. So thanks everyone for listening, and go Blazers.